Hi everyone, I'm Dan Cornish, a lead forecaster here at the National Weather Service in Gaylord, and I'm going to go over an example of our winter impacts timing slide. The slide is split into two halves. The left side is where we will describe the details of impacts of upcoming winter weather in text format, such as snowfall rates, snow consistency, winds, how they will impact visibilities, road conditions, and potential for power outages, as well as the timing of worst conditions. The right side of the slide is where you'll find the table displaying the forecast timing of impacts for select locations across northern Michigan, where cities are shown along the left side, day and time intervals are along the top, and the impact level legend is shown at the bottom. Impacts are separated into 5 different levels ranging from little to none to extreme. Little to none indicates that little to no driving impacts are expected at that location during that time frame. Limited correlates to low-end winter weather advisory conditions, so typically a few inches of snow per 12 or 24 hours with limited wind or blowing snow potential. The next is elevated, which correlates to high-end winter weather advisory conditions or a winter weather advisory where icing potential exists on roadways. This also correlates to the timing of worst impacts inside of the headline. So for example, for a winter weather advisory, the winter weather advisory may last longer than the orange shaded area at a given location, but the orange shading indicates the worst conditions within that advisory. Also, this may indicate potential for blowing snow or drifting snow. Next is significant impacts, and this is reserved for when a winter storm warning is in effect. Once again, it's emphasized that this is used to highlight the timing of worst conditions inside of the warning time. This can correlate to brief whiteout conditions or the worst visibilities expected, the highest snowfall rates and accumulations on roads during that time, or the potential for heavier icing. Last is extreme, and this is reserved for when a blizzard warning or an ice storm warning is in effect. Once again, this highlights the timing of worst expected forecast conditions. So what's the best way to interpret this table? Let's take a look at Gaylord as an example. Keeping in mind that our main goal is to highlight the worst expected time for a specific area for the most serious conditions. In this case, for Gaylord, the worst impacts, which are expected to be significant, indicated by the red shading, are forecast from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. Worsening conditions are anticipated from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., where at 10 p.m. you see limited impacts rising to significant impacts at 4 a.m. While the worst impacts are expected through 7 a.m., elevated impacts are still forecast through the following day as snow continues across the area. Additionally, while most areas across northern Michigan are forecast to see their worst impacts arrive late Thursday night, you can note that Alpena is expected to see their worst conditions during the daylight hours on Friday. So that's a quick overview of our winter impacts timing graphic that we hope you find useful. As always, if you have any questions about the forecast or our products, don't hesitate to call the office at 989-732-9306.